5 days to go, and India versus Pakistan will be upon 1.3 billion Indians and a further million Pakistani supporters. October 23 is chapter 3 of India versus Pakistan. It was 1-1 in the Asia Cup. Now, the concluding chapter could potentially be in Melbourne. Remember, Melbourne in this T20 World Cup 2022 is going to host two very important games for India. One is against Pakistan on October 23 and their final league game on November 6th could be against either of the West Indies or Zimbabwe, Ireland. We have to wait for that on November 6th. But the Melbourne cricket ground, if one has to look at the build-up of it, it's actually not good, folks. Yes, there is a threat of rain and it threatens to dampen the hopes and expectations and the joy of thousands and millions of people, because according to several weather forecasts, the possibility of rain in Melbourne on that day alone is 65%. Sometimes it has increased to 80 or 90%. A small glimmer of hope maybe. Towards the evening, there is not much of rain. So there is a faint glimmer of hope. Traditionally in Melbourne, if you have to look at the weather, around October, out of the 31 days, 12 days are rainy weather days. But it is also the best time to visit Melbourne, as there are plenty of sunshine days as well. One hopes La Nina takes a backseat and we have a sunny day on October 23rd. Melbourne Cricket Ground, if one has to describe that epic venue, it is indeed the cauldron. It is also the venue which has the longest boundaries. 80 to 86 meters is the square boundaries. But on the other hand, if you look at the straight boundaries, that is also 80 meters. Power hitters, you have to up your ante at the Melbourne Cricket Ground because the square boundaries and the straight boundaries are fairly large. And to add to the woes, it's a drop-in wicket as well. A drop-in wicket is the pitch has already been made. It has just got to be implemented in the 22-yard square and you have a pitch. Why is a drop-in pitch used in Melbourne? Primarily because that venue hosts other sports also, AFL, football, in addition to cricket. If you look at the average scores that are there in Melbourne, it's traditionally not been a very high scoring ground. The average first inning score is about 139. But India have the highest score there of 184 and they ironically also have the lowest score, which was 74 in 2008. Now, if teams win the toss, what should they do? Remember, the toss has been a major factor in the Asia Cup. Even in the series against India, toss did play a crucial role. What about Australia? Well, if you look at the MCG, out of the 18 T20Is that's been played there, 7 have been won by the teams batting first. 10 have been won by the teams batting second. So win the toss and bowl. Perhaps that is the strategy for the MCG if you have to look at it. So this is all that we have about the pitch and the boundary dimensions that's there in the MCG. Now what about India's record at the MCG? Played 4, won 2, lost 1 with a no result one. The last game that they played at the MCG, it was a no result against Australia. They started off terribly though, being bowled out for 74 in 2008. But in 2012 and 2016, they bounced back and won against Australia. What about Pakistan? Pakistan, you'll be very surprised to know, folks, that they'll be playing at the MCG after 12 years in a T20I. They last played in 2010 and in a chase of 128, they lost by 2 runs. Come to think about it, most of the members, in fact, all the members of the current Pakistan team have never ever played a T20I in Melbourne. So that adds another pressure factor heading into this contest. Who do you think are the top run getters and the top bowlers for India at the MCG? Well, you need not go any further than our top 2. Virat, the King Kohli. His average at the MCG when it comes to T20Is are whopping 90. And his strike rate, 150. He's loved playing at the MCG, folks. He's got a century in the Boxing Day Test in 2014. Also hit 100 in 2016 in an ODI there. But Virat Kohli tops the charts at the MCG, followed by Rohit Superman, Rohitman Sharma. 68 runs in 4 games at an average of 30 and a rather subdued strike rate of 126. But it was his 150 during one of the matches in 2012 that helped India win that contest. So Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli dominate the batting charts when it comes to the T20Is in Melbourne. On the other hand, the bowlers, this is where India will probably experience a pinch because, fact, apart from Ravichandran Ashwin, no other bowler has played that much in Melbourne. Jasprit Bumrah and Ravindra Jadeja, two of your leading bowlers who were injured and are not available in the T20 World Cup, they unfortunately dominate the bowling charts in Melbourne. 2 matches, 3 wickets for Jasprit Bumrah, but unfortunately his loss could hurt India in the long run. So that is the situation that we have when we are building up to India versus Pakistan. Melbourne, October 23, 1:30 p.m. IST. That's when the action will start and potentially a final conclusion to this epic 3-part rivalry, which is India versus Pakistan. So thank you so much, folks, for joining us for this live. We'll be back with more updates from Sports Today. Press the like, comment and share button. We are also there on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, folks.